All right, and we're back. This is another episode of Las Vegas Outlaws Franchise here on 2K24. We have a couple of housekeeping things to address real quick. First of all, after our 7-7 start, I didn't feel like that was super realistic. Turn the simulator difficulty up just a little bit. Probably not something we're going to notice. I didn't want to go too drastic just in case it was like a fluke start. But I just felt like it could be a little bit more realistic. Starting 7-7 is obviously not impossible, but I felt like with the roster that we had, we probably should not be winning so many games. Again, not to discredit players like Watford who are playing out of their mind, but just wanted to say that real quick. Also, I didn't realize that the Las Vegas Outlaws were already an XFL team. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen and that didn't exist. So we're going to steal their logo. Wanted to go over a couple of prospects here. Obviously, we talked about a lot of these guys in the last episode. First player I want to look at just with these prospects is Seth Foster. Right now, he's slated to go as the third pick. Well, actually the first pick in the second round because we've added two new teams. But he's probably too good for that range as a 19-year-old who obviously great defender and rebounder, very well could be one of the best players in the draft. So value pick, late first round. Definitely someone we could look to trade up for if came to it. Good scorer. Obviously hasn't developed the three ball yet, but that's not something that's out of the cards here. Depends what his potential is. Obviously, we don't know that, but I like him a lot. I think, especially for the value, I think he's going to be great. Player right here with Bryson Butler. I can't believe that he's only like the 15th ranked player in the draft, just simply because he's a great player, great scorer, great playmaker, decent defender. Obviously not a great defender, but he's 6'5", 220 at the guard position. I mean, what's not to like there? I mean, you could argue that this type of player would go number one overall in a draft. So the opportunity to select a guy like this, he's going to be a great player off the bat. High floor, high ceiling. I don't know what's not to like there. We looked at JoJo Alexander last time, but Ace Tillman is someone that I think is a really similar player. Great, well-rounded scorer. He can play make, decent defender. Nothing stands out other than the mid-range scoring. He's kind of like a DeMar DeRozan type player with that high athleticism, a little bit raw. Not necessarily raw, just well-rounded, like I said. There's no area of his game that's a glaring issue, but he's also not like outstanding in any area other than the mid-range. But there's a reason he's going to be a top probably 10 pick. And, you know, we definitely would not mind having a player like this on our basketball team. We've got a couple of guys here in Braden Fisher and Dwayne Knight that look like late first-round picks. Just some good role players. Fisher obviously is going to be a good 3-and-D guy. Very well-rounded player. And Dwayne Knight, another guy that you could probably put into that like Tyrese Maxey range. Just a high-value guy, someone that can get you buckets. Not a great playmaker, but he's a really good defender, 6'4", 216. I mean, if you're getting a guy like that at pick 28, like, that's just ridiculous. Also got a lot of big men in this draft. Theo Carney is supposed to be a lottery pick, but I just don't know if I see that myself. Obviously, he's a great interior player. He's 19, tons of room to improve. He's just not a great offensive player. That's why I personally wouldn't want to take him. But if, you know, a team like Charlotte or Orlando who really needs that like dominant big man, or at least a supporting cast type of big man, he's obviously a great athlete. He can catch lobs. He's just not, you know, the type of player that a team who needs a big, like Gino Braun, for example, someone you could run your offense around, great three-point scorer, still obviously a great defender, rebounder. Someone like that I definitely could see going high in the draft. But if Carney did fall, obviously not something that we're going to say no to. Great player, great athlete. But I don't know. It would definitely have to be the right team for them to pick him in the top 10. We've also got Gordon Whitmore here out of Missouri. All around, great scorer, good playmaker. Not a great defender, little undersized, 6'2", 198. But he's going to be a pure point guard, kind of like your Chris Paul more like a Peyton Pritchard in terms of like actual play style and production, considering where he's going to be in the draft. But definitely someone that could be a role player on a championship team, almost like a TJ McConnell too comes to mind. He's obviously 21, so that's part of it. But yeah, great scorer, playmaker. Any team would love to have him, especially at that value. Wally Patton is another great player here. Very well-rounded scorer, great mid-range, decent playmaker and defender. Not necessarily strong suits, but he is pretty athletic, 6'6" guard out of Kentucky. He's a good wing player. You got a lot of bigs here. Rod King and Gabriel Stevens are both probably that mid first round. I think Stevens probably has a better chance to go in the top 10. Just an amazing defensive player, good rebounder, but he has that inside scoring and mid-range scoring ability to him. So, out of Boston College, 19 years old, 7'2". I mean, this is a great basketball player. Rod King is kind of like the light version of that. Right now, it's showing that he's a way better scorer. I don't know if those grades are really super accurate. Not a great athlete, but he is still a great defensive player. He's a great rebounder. Still, 22, a little bit less height. Still not a shabby player there. You've also got guys like Ken Soto and Boyd Kennedy. Again, same type of archetype, good rebounder, good post player. They're all inside players that could develop an outside game. Soto definitely has more potential for that than Kennedy does, why Soto is probably going to be in the 20s and Kennedy might slip to the second round. But you also have a guy like Cassell, who, again, same type of build, same type of archetype, post-defense rebounder. There's a lot of these guys in the draft, and I think it's important to highlight it just because these are players that we need on our team. We obviously struggle a lot in those departments with the rebounding and interior defense, so any of those guys are guys that we would be more than happy to have employed on our basketball team. There's also one more guy that I want to look at here, would be Stacey Nixon. He right now is draft ranked 12, but just offensively, he's an insane player. Mostly a good scorer, good shot creator for himself. 20 years old out of Ohio State. Obviously, he's 6'1", 186. Not the biggest or tallest or strongest guy, but when you need a basket, he's definitely a guy you can go to. Underrated athlete, to say the least. And I think he has the potential to be the best scorer out of this draft class. You've got a lot of guys here that might slip into the second round here. Desmond Roberts out of Kentucky is a great player. He's 23, though. Like, a lot of old players that might slip down the board. Asher Fang, great 3-and-D guy, someone in the lottery that needs a winning type of player. Asher Fang from Memphis is definitely a great pick there. So there's a lot of guys in this class. Those, are definitely guys that I wanted to highlight. Most everyone else I feel like is probably going to be more of a role player. I think we've went over all of the game-changing type of players in this draft, but I just wanted to set the scene and make sure that we highlighted all these fantastic basketball players, and now we can focus on getting into the game. The Sonics starting lineup is going to be Derrick Rose, KCP, Svi Mykhailiuk, Jared Vanderbilt, and JaVale McGee. Shackton legend right there. These are the two uniforms that they're working with. We're going to let them rock that. And ourselves, we're probably going to wear our reds at home today. And yes, I did forget to change the Staples Center. Eventually, I'll get to that as we lose the tip to JaVale McGee. But something that I'm interested for in this game is we've already kind of started off the right way, and we're going to do the stupid 2K thing and pull up and miss it. Great start. But as I was saying, defense is an important aspect of the game. And I like the way that we've started out on that end so far, as they're going to let DeLon shoot that ball, and we get that 3 to go. I really want to make sure that we focus on the offensive side of the ball this game as well. I know I just said that we need to play good defense, but you need both parts, and whatever we're struggling with is what we're going to focus on, I guess. I really like Killian Hayes' potential as a shot creator. Obviously, runs that pick and roll to perfection there with Kenrich, but he just gets a lane and attacks the basket. That's the type of stuff that we need. We need to be aggressive, and I think we have a bunch of gritty, scrappy players. I don't think we are going to win the game by having the better talent, but something that I really think that this team needs to do is to be able to just grit and grind out a game, kind of like how Memphis used to do back when they had Tony Allen and Mike Conley. Not that we even have players as good as that, but that's the philosophy anyway that we're working with. Derrick Rose is a very interesting player. As he's already cold, we're playing really good defense on him. But I like Derrick Rose on this Seattle team just because I feel like he's a guy now in Memphis that has pretty limited role. I want to see what he could do given the opportunity to be one of those guys on a team. He's probably the leader of this team. I thought it was interesting because they do have Miles McBride, Knicks legend there, and they're not starting him. They really believe in D. Rose here. Derrick trying to go to work on DeLon. Gets by him for the moment, but pretty good defense from DeLon Wright. Killian defended there, Will. And there you go. Good shot contest. Yurtseven with the board. And we're going to push this up the court here. And Yurtseven inside with the nice pass from DeLon. 9-0 start here for our Las Vegas Outlaws. And I think this is a statement game for us. And they can't get the rebound. McGee goes up and inside for two. Plays like that are exactly why I highlighted the rebounding issues of this team, as we can't get that alley-oop to go. You can play as great defense as you want, but if you give up enough second-chance opportunities, you're going to let the other team at least stay in a game, if not win it, that they really should not be in. Mihailuk rips it. Now the Sonics are out and running. KCP pull up on the break, misses, gets his own, and goes up for two. Yurtseven still not back, and we're going to give up an open transition three for Svi Mihailuk. That is timeout worthy right there. We need one. That is not the way that we want to play basketball against them. As Yurtseven goes in, gets that nice tip for the alley. The alley-oop was a very nice play for us in the last game that we played. I think we need to use it as often as we can. Rose is now not cold, still guarded by Wright, wants to drive, goes inside, attacks the basket, and gets a layup. Obviously, Derrick is still going to keep attacking the basket here. He's their high-usage player, and we lose him for three. He doesn't get it, but guess who inside? JaVale McGee. We're going to have Yurtseven get the ball. We're just going to back down Derrick here. It's going to take up a lot of Omer's energy, but I don't think there's any way D. Rose is stopping him inside. Well, the Sonics have made as many shots as us, but attempted 7 more, which is a highlight of both our amazing defense and atrocious amount of secondhand opportunities that we're allowing, as we cannot stop JaVale McGee inside. Loses it. McGee comes up with it, passes it ahead to Caldwell Pope, who pulls up and hits the jumper on the break. Sonics' first lead of the game, if I'm not mistaken. We need to lock in and get this figured out. KCP out on the break. Dishes to Vanderbilt, who scores and the foul. Wow, what a run for the Sonics, showing that they are not to be messed with. Vanderbilt shoots the free throw, and he's got it. We've now got our boy Watford in the game. We need to get him going. And we start off with a lob to him. He's been our best player so far in simulation, so I figure we should probably get him the ball, as we've now got Miles McBride, the guy that I think the Sonics are probably going to have the best chance of keeping on their team long term as he gets stuffed inside. Giving up wide open threes is not a great plan, though, as now we're down 5. KCP hits the 3. Watford just too fast for McGee. Scores in the break, gets a nice dunk. Like I said, Miles McBride is a great player, and we need to make sure that he doesn't get out in this game. Mihailuk, we've done a pretty good job so far containing his 3-point shots. Roddy inside, defending KCP, but KCP is just on another level right now. Might be the Sonics' best player so far. Get Watford the ball, have him post up on McBride, and that's just too easy for Watford. Pretty competitive game so far. Very happy with our aggressiveness. And Green, speaking of aggressiveness, absolutely stuffs that shot from Mihailuk. Javante is having a very, very good start to the game defensively. Baisley posting, takes the screen, gets his pockets picked. DeLon Wright, high key our best player so far as he gets the jam in transition. No real movement from the Sonics here, and Beasley's just going to have to put up something. Shoots a long two, and he hits it. McBride has it, 6 seconds to go. Clock winding down. He's going to just pass it to Beasley, who shoots it at the buzzer. Malik Beasley puts the Sonics up 6. Starting the second quarter, we do have DeLon Wright, Killian Hayes, Javante Green, David Roddy, and last but not least, Boucher as he goes up and slams it down. Javante is going to try and spin by him, gets the layup to go in transition. Great take from him. Going to get a screen here, see if he likes his matchup, drives inside and gets fouled. Killian, obviously not having an amazing game efficiency-wise, 1 for 4, but hey, made both free, of course. And the announcer jinx. We're watching a defensive clinic, or at least an offensive not clinic. Killian, bang, corner 3 goes, and now your Vegas Outlaws have a lead. Derrick Rose gets open in the corner, doesn't take, drives inside and gets the layup. Good play by Derrick Rose attacking the basket. He's been aggressive early. DeLon setting that and gets fouled. There we go. That's 3 personal fouls on Derrick Rose already. DeLon Wright puts the Outlaws up 1. Now the second free throw here. He takes it, and he's got it. Marshall can't defend that as they get a great pass to Powell inside. He gets 2. 5 seconds, get the ball to Marshall. He shoots. He can't get it to go. Kenrich on the glass. First offensive rebound. Kenrich Williams inside, making a great play. For some reason, I just cannot get Najee Marshall going. 2 for 12 in his first game with us, and I don't think he's doing so good this game either. Outlaws are out in transition. Najee Marshall finally gets a bucket in transition and can't get it to go. But who's on the glass? And 1. Kenrich Williams. What a play. KCP now attacking Hayes. Tries to step back mid-range and gets it to go. KCP swings to McBride, swings to Mihailuk, gets open and sticks it. Gets the screen, works around, goes inside and gets the layup. Like I said, Miles McBride is someone that you don't want to let get those type of buckets. Hayes works inside, gets fouled as Killian misses the first free throw. Takes his time, lines it up, and misses the second. Sonics do not have an answer inside right now for Watford as he gets his 8th point of the game. Tries to drive inside, gets denied there. Mihailuk for 3 again. Sonics are on a 10-2 run here as Yurtseven sets the screen for Wright, who takes a difficult shot. Yurtseven inside, goes back up with it and puts it in. In my mind, that type of play is always going to be what we're going to do as Wright gets into the lane, deflects the pass, and Watford comes over and pushes the pace to Wright. And now you've got a lead. No reason for it to stop now, as KCP just cannot miss. He is unconscious right now. Feels like he has a lot more than 13 points. Green, defended by Mihailuk. Feels like that's a mismatch and gets it to go. Javante Green is someone that has it going, and we need to get him the ball. As Green gets the steal, swings it right going to the corner. Bang! What a 3 for DeLon Wright. Definitely our best offensive player so far and an incredibly underrated defender as well. JaVale McGee inside gets that layup to go. He's obviously having himself quite a night. And Mihailuk shoots the 2 and gets it. Forcing the miss now. They're out. Shoots it. Watford. Bang. And that's your first half. Looking at the stats here, DeLon Wright was clearly our best player, having an efficient game, 15 points. You've also got Watford has 11 on 5 of 7 shooting. Killian, obviously great stats other than his efficiency, which, looking at him, that's kind of his game. He's going to put up a lot of shots. He's going to make some. He's going to get you the rebounds, the assists. He's a good, gritty player. Yurtseven also having a decent night, 8 rebounds. I like Javonte Green. Definitely want to get him the ball. Najee Marshall struggling. I got to find a way to get this guy involved. He's our best overall player, and he cannot be having these types of games when I'm playing. Looking at their team, KCP obviously on a heater. We've played decent defense on Mihailuk, although he has been pretty hot from 3 so far. Derrick Rose, again, not having a great efficient night. He's still aggressive, though, and we want to make sure that we keep him from getting hot in the second half. All right, and now we are at the start of the second half here. DeLon Wright handling the ball. I will say we probably, although he has been our best player offensively, need to get other people some opportunities to create. Not that there's anything wrong with DeLon, just that the fact that you obviously already see his bar is half full on the energy. So not that he's having a bad game by any means, but not someone that we want to tire out, especially not at this point. Marshall, pull up 3 in transition, bang. What did I say about getting him involved? Mihailuk gets free, can't get it to go, but McGee with the follow gets 2. Right? Getting a little shifty, obviously can't get it to go. They're going to swing it. Guess who? Najee Marshall for 3. Little jab, gets the screen from McGee, shoots the 3. Derrick Rose puts it in. What did we say about not letting him get hot? We think that Najee can really attack this matchup here, and he does. Drives inside after pump faking. Had Mihailuk in the air, and Najee Marshall, after a really atrocious first half offensively, is on fire. We made a pact here to get Najee Marshall the ball, get him some opportunities to score. We're going to continue to do just that as he gets right around and finishes a tough layup. Mihailuk cannot guard him. Sonics are on the break. Can't let that happen. And now the Outlaws are out and running. And Williams gets the dunk in transition. This matchup between Marshall and Mihailuk might be the one that, as Derrick Rose goes in for a layup and 1. As I was trying to say, I feel like the Mihailuk-Najee Marshall matchup is pretty important in this game just because Marshall has the ability to take out one of their best scorers, at least in a microwave, as he drives on Mihailuk and gets right to the bucket. The Outlaws are very comfortable with the ball in Najee Marshall's hands as he drives on Mihailuk again and finishes. Boucher switched on to Rose, gets the screen and the switch, except there was no switch, and JaVale gets an easy 2 inside. Mihailuk steps back, swish on the break. Killian now pushing the pace and gets fouled. Killian having an atrocious night from the line. 3 of 7. Not sure if that counts that miss, but he now has an opportunity and makes it. Roddy, guarded by McBride, pumps, drives by him. Can't get it to go, but there's a foul. And just like that, it's now a defensive ball game again as Roddy gets his first points on this free throw here. David Roddy's a very interesting player. I like what we have as he misses the second. Beasley around the screen, puts up the 3, gets it to go. Malik Beasley makes it a 5-point game. After a tip pass, now the Sonics try to inbound again. Watford defending the inbound. Boucher now passes to Vanderbilt as Vanderbilt hits the midi. Watford, Rose on him, calls for the ISO. Jabs again, drives on Rose, gets some space, balance midair. Tough shot, but Trenton Watford gets it to go. Something that this Outlaws team is learning to do a lot better is to attack mismatches and not just force feed, as Beasley gets wide open for a layup underneath and flexes. Hayes goes underneath the screen. Rose inside dumps for McGee, who gets two. Hayes, screen from Watford, drives, alley-oop. Watford comes down with it. They need to get him the ball more because he is going off. Watford, Vanderbilt on him, pumps, drives, and slams it down, hanging on the rim for that extra emphasis. What a jam by Trendon Watford, absolutely taking this game over. Start of the fourth now, 5-point lead. This is really important start to the quarter here. If we can get off to a hot start as we stuff inside, Malik Beasley gets packed. You know who the ball's going to. Najee Marshall wants the screen, likes the matchup on Beasley, drives inside and gets fouled. He'll be shooting two at the line. Najee Marshall the first, misses it. That's my fault. Horrible release. Gonna give it a little bit more time. Marshall sticks the second. He's up to 17 in the game now. Sonics are all standing around, zero movement of the ball or the players as DeLon Wright fouls the jump shooter. Can't do that. McBride goes 2 for 3 from the line, and you know what time it is. Najee Marshall gets the ball on him, goes inside, just can't get it to go. Got a little bit of space, but just can't finish the bunny. Around the screen by Beasley, they double. Back to Beasley. 3, bang. It's now a 1-point game. McBride swings to Beasley, who puts up the 3, bang. The Sonics set a down screen. Beasley open for 3 again. Malik Beasley catching fire here in the fourth. Who's open? You know, it's Beasley. Another 3, no good, but the rebound by McBride. Got a box out in that situation, and now the Sonics have a 7-point lead. Kicks it to Hayes. Gonna have to take a shot. Puts it up. No good. Sonics again. Getting the stops when they need them here in the fourth. Clutch plays as KCP goes inside and makes it a 9-point game. Everything is now falling apart for the Outlaws, as what was supposed to be a statement game is now pretty much an embarrassment as Hayes goes inside and gets a nice little layup. Hayes, with the screen from Yard 7, goes around it. Passes to Wright, who attacks McBride and gets the slam. That's how you respond after giving up a decent lead in the fourth. 7 to go, plenty of time. 5-point game. Mihailuk swings to Pope, who finds McBride for 3. No good. Rebound. Tipped, no good. They leave wide open for Powell, and Yurt 7 fouls him. Misses the second free throw, but they pass it, gets turned over. Mihailuk, step back, corner 3, pocket, ball game. I shouldn't say ball game, but it is not looking good as Williams chucks up a 3, can't get it to go. It's movement, Pope for 3, can't get it to go, but another offensive rebound, and now a double-digit lead for the Sonics. Things are going downhill and fast. Hayes, pump fake, inside, gets fouled. Hayes, first free throw, got it. His second, got it. Pope, dribbling out the clock, gets the screen from Vanderbilt, drives on Hayes. Hayes, good defense, and Pope walks out of bounds. Guarded by Mihailuk. Back out to Hayes, who hits the jumper. It's now a 7-point game. Back out to Rose, gets the screen from Pope. Rose drives, pulls up, and gets it. Hey, Derrick Rose shoots enough friggin' times. Eventually, that's going to go in. Finds Yurt 7, Pope on him. Yurt 7 attacking the mismatch, goes up and gets the layup. Out on the break to Kenrich, inside, and 1! And he misses the free throw. Rose, dancing, step back, mid-range, can't get it to go. Derrick Rose is cold. Rose gets the screen from Pope, takes it inside, drives in, and gets the layup. Back to a 7-point lead with 2 minutes left. Wright wants the screen again from Yurtseven. Yurtseven inside. Hey, gets the dunk. Omer Yurtseven now with 12 points and 17 rebounds. He's having himself a night. Screen. Williams. Open. Cannot get it to go. Yurtseven on the glass. Can't get it to go. Pope pushing the pace again. Finds Vanderbilt inside. And now back to 7 with 44 to go. Is that the dagger? No intentional foul game here from Vegas. They're just going to let them dribble out the game. It was a hard-fought victory for the Sonics. 93-100 is the final. Definitely still a game where you probably look at changing the rotation up a little bit. The final stats, we got DeLon Wright, who really didn't do much, 1 for 3 in the second half. Najee Marshall did pick it up, although still finishing with 17 points on 18 shots is not great. But he started 1 for 7, finishes 7 for 18, so can't complain there. Watford, obviously, didn't probably get enough shots or minutes. 16 minutes for Trendon Watford. I mean, probably could have gotten 30 if they just upped his minutes a little bit. Whenever you see a guy who has more points than minutes played, that's a guy who needs to get more minutes, simply put. Somehow Killian Hayes finishes the game with 49 minutes, even though the game played was 48, so that's a pretty cool stat there, I guess. Overall, yeah, just not a great game from a guy like Javonte. I was trying to be aggressive with him, but just put up a lot of threes that I didn't need to, but otherwise a good game defensively from him. And for the Sonics, pretty good defense on them. Malik Beasley ended up catching fire to start the fourth, but Caldwell Pope was contained in the second half. If we do look at the second half, Derrick Rose 4 for 19, a total of 6 for 31 from him. That's just an atrocious game. 14 points on 31 shots. I mean, good Lord, that is bad. Looking at the team comparison, you can see that we did shoot the ball better. A lot more free throws, definitely. We attacked the basket a lot. More points in the paint, but they got more bench points, 1 more assist. They ended up not actually killing us in the rebound game by any means, but they did have 13 steals. As a team, we had 14 turnovers. They only had 10. We obviously didn't get called for too many fouls, but at the same time, a lot of open jump shots. If anything, the Sonics definitely could have capitalized a lot more on. So a loss is always going to be a loss, but you got to move forward. I'm not sure yet which of these games we're going to play in the next episode, so I'm just going to sim here to the 1st of December, trying to play like 1-ish game a month as we get a very interesting trade offer. They want Patrick Baldwin Jr. and a second. They're going to give us Seth Curry and Terrence Davis. Both players are absolutely balling out for the Hornets, so we are going to just decline that because there's no reason for them to want a guy who doesn't even play for us. And we're going to sim through here. We get a win over the Wizards, win over the Cavs, lose to the Nuggets, so we're still a 9-9 ball club. Again, we're going to recap with the stats. Still got a great showing from Watford. It's just a balanced attack. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures on the scoring. All of it's done pretty efficiently now. Hayes is up to 40%. So is Najee Marshall. Obviously, still could be a little bit more efficient, but nobody's in the 30% range now, so we'll take it. If you enjoy this series, I'm not going to beg for a like or a subscribe. I think that's pathetic, and if you ever see me do that, I've changed my ways and I'm a sellout, and you can feel free to call me that. It's really all I got for you, and I'll catch you in the next one.